Hey, this is Anna Taylor of Anna Taylor Radio. We got a really awesome, very important show today. I am interviewing and talking with Branden Riley, which is a delegate candidate who's running for a Democratic office, House of Delegates, the 82nd district. Is that correct?
Correct. Dinwiddie, Dinwiddie County, Prince George County, and Petersburg City.
Right. And other surrounding rural cities as well, right?
Right.
And you shared with me that basically what you're working towards and why you want to be voters to vote for you is that you want to improve educational opportunities, grow the economy and raise wages, and provide reliable and affordable internet, correct?
Correct.
You also want to bridge the gap too between for disparaging or underprivileged students who have inactive or absent parents, and you want to bridge that gap between the parent-teacher relationship, so that it can better the schooling opportunities for the kids in school, correct? And provide more funding
Definitely.
as
Yeah.
well. Provide more funding too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, ultimately, the education system is underfunded. We haven't fully funded the education system in a long time. Now we understand we have room in the budget to do so. Why are we not? Hopefully, we do make that choice in 2023. And if not, when I'm elected, we'll make sure that happens. And then also making sure that we raise the effectiveness of our PTAs, getting parents back involved or more involved in the school system, if you will, and the whole village mentality. I understood, there's some controversy last go around by keeping parents out of the things. I believe we fully should have parents involved. I'm a parent myself, a parent of five, and that in and of itself, like, there's a hand in hand balance where I drop my kids off and trust the teachers with my children, right? So how does that look like in full? Develop those relationships, cultivate together versus trying to say one knows better than the other. So I
All
think
right.
it's collectively need to make an informed decision.
Right. That's everybody should support that. And it don't matter what side of the spectrum you're on, Republican, Democrat, libertarian, whatever, anybody, especially parents, obviously, that you need to support that because this is your child. This is not just your child's future, but everyone's future, because
Right.
I came up with this motto a long time ago. We are our educators. And it's like we are educated by our educators, and then we grow up to educate, and then they grow up to educate. So it's like, if you don't teach your children well, as the old song, it's like a 60s song, like teach your children well. If we don't teach them well, they're not going to be educated enough when they get older to, run this country, run the world. They're our future. So yeah,
Right.
I definitely agree. Everybody needs to support that. Um, so, and this is for all students, correct? Like, I mean, besides like
Yeah.
mostly underprivileged ones, but like, whatever their background, creed, color, religion, whatever, like it's for all students who are struggling or in, like who might struggle in the future, correct?
Right. This is for all, not just all students, all children, really, because it even starts in the. I believe we really should be reaching more into the pre-K, understanding that technology is advancing. Our children are becoming more smarter. There are children who know how to work smartphones better than most adults do,
Right,
right? So
right.
how do we prepare them, right, or we have their captive minds and make sure they're being molded and educated in a way, even though they may not fit in the traditional school model as of yet, right? What are there opportunities for them? How do we grow those opportunities and support those opportunities from state level, in terms of funding wise, and then also from an educational perspective in terms of how we direct our education?
Correct. Right, right. And we got to start them young. You know what I mean? We got to nip it in the bud. We got to get to the root. I totally agree. You start them right when they get in school, right when they're starting to learn, because their brains are like sponges. And like you said, some
Right.
of them can work a smartphone better than an adult. And I agree on that because I know my kids can work anything better than I can now.
Yeah.
The
Sure,
world
you knew.
is changing so fast with technology. It's like, you'd think us adults could keep up, but really it's the kids, they're the ones growing up with it. So, you know,
Right.
so as far as
So
like raising wages and things, you're definitely in support of raising wages for teachers, right? Because
right.
I mean, why not? You know?
I mean, not even why not? If we're entrusting someone to raise the highest, really provide a high quality education, right? That's going to hire them a high wage earning job, right? Then why wouldn't that position be regarded as very valuable?
I think being
It
a
is a
teacher is
valuable.
the most valuable position in the world, because if it wasn't for teachers, we wouldn't know what we know. How would we know how to make this world possible without teachers, without learning from other people who are educated? That's like the most important position. So, yeah, let's definitely, and probably better like incentives and like you mentioned, like paid, like more paid leaves of absence, for like maternity leaves and paternity leaves as well, and things like that, right?
Right, right, definitely. So one of the few things, right, really just supporting families, right? Bottom line, what I want to do is make sure that we are supporting families in all levels so they can make the effective decisions that they need to make and not be bogged down in the next generation that comes after us, right? The
Right.
things that we do in 2023, 2025, and in the near years to come, right? Won't really see fruit or bear impact until 10, 20 years later, when those children who benefited from the things that we've been able to in place are now growing up and are now making decisions, are now quote unquote running the world. Um, so I think we have a long road ahead of us, but if we start thinking from a fundamental perspective, why are we sending our children to school for X amount of hours out of the day? And then how are we making sure they're prepared for the next steps once they leave the school system?
Exactly. Right. So you're a community builder. You're all about, like, it, and it's true. It takes a village to raise a child. You want to bridge those gaps, and you want to connect those bridges. So basically, what is the message that you want to get out to voters? Like, why vote for you? And as far as like your opponents, what differentiates you from your opponents?
I mean, the greatest thing I think that really differentiates me between anybody else, anybody who's probably running in 2023 period, is the fact that I've been managing political campaigns for the last 7 years. I've talked to tons of voters across the state of Virginia, even voters outside of the Virginia as well, but at least 50K in Virginia alone, personally, and have had these conversations on their front door. Right, I've gone to them, spoke to them either on the front door, on the phone, whatever it is. I've heard the concerns over the years, and I'm not seeing the progress which we really need to make as a society. So that being said, I have the ear of not just the district, but also the ear of the people statewide. So I'm going with the intent to make change and make real change for the betterment of our Commonwealth, and not being stuck in this partisan uh, feuds or partisan polarization that's kind of going on. There are things that we can do where we can take the partisan politics off the table, and there's things that we can do that actually benefits the lives of people. And I think that's going to be my focus. And if once we get all those other things out the way, then cool, we can go back to partisan politics if that's what's necessary. Honestly, I don't think that's necessary, but others would have a different view.
Right. So you're looking out for the better interest of everyone, the community, not just Republicans, not just Democrats, not just, this group of people or that group of people. You want everybody to, it's bipartisan. This is for the better of everyone.
Right. And I'm not even just like the groups of people politically wise, right? But even the rich or the poor, right? If we raise the minimum wage, right? Ultimately, that means that companies that support those that are hiring those employees need to make more money so then they can pay their employees and not go under, or at least keep their current profit status, right?
Right.
It'd be great if we can get to a place where we can have profit sharing with all our employees, right? But I know that's a harder mountain to climb. I really think that people should be able to organize and collectively bargain and make sure that they're getting paid a fair wage, right? But at the same time, if we drive the bottom up, if we drive the bottom wage up, we also make sure we increase revenue streams, increasing the opportunity for businesses to export and do business outside the state, even internationally. And so we have so many different resources here in Virginia, in the Commonwealth, and I just think there's so much we can do.
So that's basically saying, like, for those people who say, well, whenever you raise wages or give people a living wage, then everything else goes up in price. So you're wanting
Right.
to give incentives to companies to where, that doesn't happen or happen as much. It's like, because it's insane, especially with inflation. It's like, well, okay, I just got a $3, $5 raise, or even a $10 raise, but yet, here, this just went up 30% and the food's going up this much percent. And it's like, but you
Right.
want these companies, you want to have incentives for these companies to where it's like, hey, we don't have to price gouge anymore. We don't have to raise, that way everybody can have an opportunity to like actually save some money for like an emergency fund or something,
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
And I think just the prospect of like saying, cool, we're going to make sure that there's more opportunities, right, to do business, right? That's going to invite more competition to the table, meaning that inflation won't really have a chance to thrive. In a sense that you will have people who can offer the same services, better services, maybe same quality, maybe better quality, but will be available to do the thing that someone's trying to jack the price up on.
Right. And to me,
So that,
when you say opportunity is basically, it's a good word. It means to be, it's hopeful, because it's like opportunity opens up a way for better living, to have a better life. We all know
right.
everybody has their stuff in life, but everybody wants to have a better life, just like Thomas Jefferson said, in the pursuit of happiness, so yeah.
Right.
I agree with that. So what's your background? Where did you start and all the way up to now, and what influenced you to run and take, try to work to get voted in for this position?
Yeah, so, sure. So my parents are military. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, born in Buffalo, New York. Moved all over with the army, if you will. Not me personally, but my parents. And then lived overseas. We came back from overseas, moved to Prince George County. That's where we were staying on Fort Leon base. And then being able to attend the Prince George County school system for a little bit. Went up to the Chesterfield County school system, and then ended up graduating and going to Virginia State University. Where I learned the trades of engineering, problem solving. I'm an engineer. I'm a problem solver at heart, really engineer at heart. Even though I have an engineering degree, I say it like if I didn't have a degree, I'd probably still be an engineer. And in that prospect, at Virginia State University, I learned a lot about our community. I learned a lot about the prominence, which was this south of the Appomattox River, wherein a lot of shipping and trades used to come back and forth from Norfolk to Petersburg. And Petersburg was a very prosperous city at one point in time as compared to where it is today. And the whole region in general was very prosperous. So how do we bring back that same economic things, or at least economic status, and not just for one group of people, but for everybody, right? And I don't want to exclude anybody in anything that I'm saying, but at the same time, I realize some people are going to take better advantage of than others because they're more driven to success, right? They understand the opportunity at hand, and they have the hope, and they have the resources and the things to go conquer, right? And in my personal purview, just by creating the atmospheres and making the game plain as to what the game is, right? Mm-hmm. This is what needs to happen. There's no hidden things, no backroom deals, no backroom tables. I'm not really about any of that. Make it plain, and those who will thrive, right? That's capitalism at its truest, right? If someone is out there saying I'm being more socialist because I want everybody to succeed, no, I want those who want to succeed, and then make sure that those who really want to go succeed, enable them the ability to go really succeed. So that's kind of where I stand. Problem solving. So I think there's an answer to every solution, or every problem rather, and it's just a matter of being able to get the right how we communicate it properly, and how we find out the other challenges which may be latent or not seen, and being able to communicate those things effectively. So pretty big into public speaking as well. So yeah.
Right. Well, by the way, thank you to your parents for serving our country, especially. And you're from this area, right? Like the area that you're trying to represent. You're originally, well, you just said you're from Buffalo, and then you came to Virginia, right?
So I'm from all over, but I spent a lot of time in the Petersburg, Dinwiddie, Prince George area, so Chesterfield area. I spent a lot of time.
Yeah, you built a friendship and repertoire in that area, and basically, grown to just blend in with the area and call it home now, right?
Correct. I mean, it's the longest place I've ever lived. This 804 region, if you will, in my life.
Oh, I understand
that. So the second longest place tied would be Lynchburg, Lynchburg City. So
voting day is November 7th, 2023. So people have plenty of time to, research things. If they got questions, they can go online to, which I brought up some resources. So if anybody needs to register to vote or get any kind of voting information for Virginia, you can go to vote411.org. The Virginia Department of Elections, you can go to www.elections.virginia.org. And basically, what are people going to be exactly voting for? I think it's so far what I see is the state Senate, the state House, special state legislative, and the Virginia House of Delegates. Is that correct? Am I missing any?
That is correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And
there
local
should be,
elections are very important. People need to, people, if you're listening to this, anybody listening to this, local elections are important. The most important election, besides the presidential election, it's even more important than that. Okay, don't wait till just the presidential elections to vote. You wonder why, you sit down, why are things the way they are? Because you need to vote in the local elections and get the right people into office, so that's my word for everybody. But yeah.
And I think I want to piggyback on that a little bit. Local elections are very important from the perspective of, like, these are the people you're going to see in the grocery store who are your elected officials, right? You're going to see them every day, right? They're going to impact, they're going to make decisions on your roads, on how the money that is received from the national or from the federal or from the state, and how that's dispersed and how it's spent, right? So you're going to see these people all the time. Why wouldn't you take the time to get to know them, show up at their events, get involved in their campaigns if you're really supportive of what they have going on? And at the same time, once they're elected, hold them accountable to that which they said they're going to do.
Yes.
And I think that's the biggest line there. It's like, you're not going to just get someone elected and never see them again. No, they're still living in your community.
You're right.
And especially at the local level, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is the United States of America, is it not?
Right.
All right. So for people who want to know more about your stance and what you're representing and what you're working towards, you said currently your website, you'll have a full website reveal in January 2023. Is that what you said?
That is very correct. I have a photo shoot later today, in a couple minutes actually. And then we'll have some, I just want to make sure it looks really nice. Everything's thought out and done. I'm an engineer, so the devil's in the details, and I kind of get stuck in the details sometimes.
And where can people go to, what's your website?
So Riley4VA is all the social media handles, Riley4 at Riley4VA, at Riley4, or www.riley4va.org. We'll get you right to my website.
And that's RILEY4VA.org, right? And your email, you said it's Branden at Riley4Virginia.org, correct?
Right, correct. Riley4VA. Everything's at Riley, RILEY, the number 4 VA, and then you want to add a .org to it. You want to find the website, put the preface in it. You want to find me on social media at the @sound.
And you also have a Facebook page, correct? That you're working on adding and building, right?
Well, that's up and running now. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
And they can just find you at Branden Riley, or is it Branden Riley 4VA?
No, it's at Riley4VA.
Okay. All right.
Everything's right there. So we made it really simple for people to find us, and no guesses. You don't have to click on the wrong person, because everything's at Riley4VA.
Good. All right. Well, I want to thank you for everything and sharing with me everything that you told me today. I think it sounds good. I mean, I say vote for Branden Riley right now.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that support, definitely, for sure. We have a donation page up. It links to one of the PACs that I started to make sure we support other candidates around the state, because there's a lot of people who need to be elected. More details on that to come, but just letting people know that, hey, it is out there, and it's not a scam. It's not taking you somewhere different. It's taking you to where you need to be.
Yeah, donations are really important, especially if you want to get the right person in office. And you sound like the right person. So to me,
awesome. Well, thank
everything I agree with what you said. So yeah, most definitely.
Awesome.
Well,
cool.
I'm Anna Taylor of Anna Taylor Radio. This is Branden Riley. And he's, like I said, he's the Democratic, and you're also a Christian, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that. Very much so. He's a dedicated Christian. And he's running for the 82nd District House of Delegates here in Virginia for the city of Petersburg, Dinwiddie County, Prince George County, and other surrounding rural areas. So thank you so much for your time today, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you for hosting me here today. And I am Branden Riley, Riley4va.org.
Bye, guys.